Be sure to subscribe and like our channel. Well, here we are again, deeper down the rabbit hole, and the Queen City Curio videocast. For all of your people who are sponsors, we are so happy and thank you. In fact, tomorrow we're going to do an AMA, so if you're a sponsor, ask us anything. It's Mother's Day, so we felt like doing a ritual when people are not going to be here. That's fine, which means the people who are not engaging in Mother's Day's activities, you can ask us anything. And that means anything. And we'll go into an explanation. Anything. Any kind of magic. Even stuff I usually don't talk about.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, we haven't quite worked out the show roster for we do have the show roster for the public shows, but not the private shows. We will get that done today over barbecue. That's right, barbecue. But tonight, what we're going to talk about, so, we're just doing it over barbecue because then it'll be more tasty.
Yep.
Oh, that was bad. But you know what? The truth is, we are today going to talk about the evil eye again. So we brought in our Italian witchcraft, internal Italian witchcraft master, who's also writing a book on the ancestors of the Medici family and other Italian great families.
My ancestors, thank you.
Yeah, your ancestors. But basically, it's probably your ancestors, but your ancestors are the Medici family and others of European lineage, in part. I'm not saying all your ancestors are the Medici families, but they're there. And so you're going to cover Italian witchcraft from ancestral Italian witchcraft and kind of have a whole bunch of things on these saintly individuals that's being worked on. You got to sell it and not push back on this sales pitch. Right,
just
so there you
take
go.
it. Just take it.
But a few weeks ago, we had a show on the evil eye, and me and Zach said we needed a different perspective on this. Since very few solutions were given in that show, which is not usually how our shows run. Usually,
right.
Usually we give solutions, and then people want to buy the book too. That's fine. I mean, but usually we try to have substantive more solutions, especially with one of the points that came out on the show, and I want to start there with 50 to 70% of people being under an evil eye curse. That was what was there before. I will say the other thing that I will outright 100% disagree with that came out of that show is that the evil eye is more powerful than classic sorcery. That was the impression given. I do not believe that in any capacity. And I'll say why and when we get into the discussion. I will back that up by why I think that is true. That said, if you ever take Andrieh Vitimus's Moa's shapeshifting class, I clearly demonstrate how to do the evil eye to the point that it's way better of an evil eye than most people's evil eye, and you can do a blessing eye too. So don't think you can just do an evil eye and that's it. You can actually bless people with just your eyes. And so it's not an evil eye, it's just a technique that people naturally happen to do because people gravitate towards envy and negative emotions much easier than training positive emotions and directing them towards other people. That said, 50 to 70% of people under an evil eye curse with no real solution is not a show we want to end with. And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
First of all, I do not know the numbers, obviously. But given the fact that what the evil eye is and how easily it can be put onto somebody, consciously or subconsciously, a lot of people are walking around with the evil eye that they don't realize.
Well, Gina, we haven't worked out your webpage for doing readings and stuff on our store page and stuff like that yet. But obviously you're more tied to the store, right? We've been through secret initiations together, right? All
Oh
that kind of
yeah.
stuff. So I'll talk freely here. There's no way I possibly believe that I mean, I could believe that maybe 50 to 70% of people are sort of affected by this.
Hmm.
But let's be blunt. A basic Qigong session or banishing is going to clear out the energies of 99.9999% of all the possible evil eye spells people can cast, unless you're dealing with somebody who's truly a beast. I mean, with like truly, like you happen to at that day cross the wrong magician who actually knows how to actually do some stuff. But in general, like 999.
No, it's gonna be for general people. And with the generalization that I gave before, that given how it's transmitted and what it is, that yeah, but it's just minor. It would be the
Right.
effect of
Right.
having a sneeze or a cough or just little
A mosquito bite.
exactly, versus
Now,
something
granted,
huge. But this is just
kind of-
minor, and this is where I'm talking about more. This is what happens with the subconscious ones who
Right,
don't
right.
aren't doing it on purpose, versus those
Well,
that
I
are
mean-
actually doing it and fixing it.
And I tried to draw that out, that I thought there was a big difference between the capacity of people doing the evil eye in a subconscious way and the capacity of people who actually are consciously, malignantly able to cast the evil eye. That there's a big difference in strength, ability, power, and not on every. I mean, there's always outside exceptions that some people have such envy in their hearts and hate in their hearts that it might be actually really strong. But I think, generally speaking, I think actually like a person who can do it consciously and get effects, they are training to do that. I generally think on average it's much more likely that is going to hit a lot harder.
So those that are trained, and I think this would be a perfect opportunity, especially for those who may just be tuning in and may not know, to explain what the evil eye actually is, or how it gets put on
Well, I
someone.
figured they were listening to the previous show. We got that at least. But
Right.
the evil eye is I mean, should I take a stab at it? Would you like me to take a stab at it? And you could correct
Go
me.
ahead. I'll correct you.
So the evil eye, let's take an energy perspective, and then I'll take a spirit perspective. I'll do both. The evil eye is a directed energy through the eyes of a negative intention to cause people to lose their luck, or to counter their health, or to kill someone. It is possible to kill someone with the evil eye. So it's basically like it can have different intentions. But for the most part, what people do is it's a curse of envy. Like, you have something I don't have, and it's basically like, and I want to take it away from you. It isn't even to the point of getting it yourself, because that would be like, that would actually be actual real magic. It's a curse of you have stuff I don't, and you're trying to even the playing field, or just hate that they have it, and that energy of hate or envy gets in the other person's system, and sort of they start to destroy their own luck.
It's basically a spiritual illness, is what it is that you're putting on someone.
Yeah, it's a curse, spiritual illness. I'll take that metaphor.
It is caused by extreme emotion. It doesn't have to be envy. It doesn't have to be hatred. It could be excessive. It could be
two obvious ones, right?
It could be excessive love, and what I mean by is more obsessive. Like
obsessive.
Only if you're not going to love me, no one can have you type situation. If I can have you, no one else can. Stalker-esque type excessive.
I'd still put that under envy. I'd
envy
put that
jealousy,
under envy, though.
Yeah.
Envy, jealousy.
Tiny bit, but not really. I split hairs in my head, so yeah. But anyway, there's so many different emotions. However, the best way to describe this, and I was telling Zach earlier, when you're putting the evil eye on someone or someone, some Italians, and it's not just in Italian culture. There's a version of it in all cultures around the
No,
world.
it is pretty clear it's worldwide. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just mostly known from Italians and or Romanian, Czech, what have you. Certain cultures, it's like, boom, here we are. Thank you very much.
No, it's there in China, and it's certainly there in
no, it
India.
is.
I mean,
I'm not saying it isn't.
geez, they have the symbol all over Little India for
And
like
everything.
the evil eye repellent because it's a thing. It's really a thing. I mean, it's a thing in Africa too. I mean, it's
Right.
This is sort of a worldwide phenomenon.
It's a human experience. We all have
It's a human experience. Yeah.
And it's just, how do I want to say this? A way to, as I was telling Zach earlier, when you're putting it on someone, then it's more kind of like it's done in a backhanded compliment kind of way, or sorta. In other words, you can come and you see someone, and it's like they're, if you're older and they're younger, it's like, oh, look at you. You look so wonderful, and your hair, so it's so dark, it's so, thick, and oh, I remember how I was at that age. If only I could do that again. It's ways of putting it on, and it's just, but it's in that kind of, oh yeah. But it's mostly if someone has something and you see it and you want it. It could be like new boots or a wicked leather duster or something, and just being just like, wow, that's really cool. Good for you. I like that and everything. And it's in your head, it's like, that's really cool. I fucking want that for myself. Sorry if there's any. I don't know if I can.
Well, we're not on live radio
We're
yet.
on live radio.
Live YouTube.
So, live YouTube. It's all good.
Okay.
I think there's other ways to cast the evil eye too, like
there is,
with more
but that's
malevolent
more of
intentions.
Yeah, I'm just saying this is a typical way that it gets put on people.
Typical, yeah.
They may not realize it. And you go and it's like, oh, compliment. Sorry. It's like, thank you very much. And find a nice little place in private, and you might cross yourself and spit on the ground, which is a little folksy way of trying to ward it off of you. Like, oh, hell no, get this off.
Well, I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because, you're not disagreeing with that 50 to 70% number either.
It's only because I don't think people know that they're doing it or getting it on them. So it's subjective. It's
right.
Really
I personally feel like a basic course in psychic shielding would prevent the evil eye.
Yeah, to some degree. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because all the techniques of superstition, I'll talk about some of the superstition that I think too, but all the superstition is about expanding it. But if you have hardened aura, like you do energy work, like it's just going to bounce off because your aura is hardened. That's been my personal experience. It just cannot easily get through. Like it's like if you take the corpus of magical books outside of a book on evil eye stuff, like all the other techniques of psychic development, psychic shielding, like give you a fair amount of protection against this particular technique, let alone the psychic cleansing, right?
Right. And a good psychic cleanse will either be with an egg, which is common to get rid of, see if you have it on you and to get rid of it. For me, I use a black votive candle just as a general cleanse.
Let's talk about that because this is some of the stuff that didn't get covered. Mm-hmm. Like one of the things that I kind of brought up was that an egg for curse work is pretty common, but it's very difficult to tell whether or not it's an evil eye curse or another classical type of curse that you have on you from the egg alone. Like the egg will come out and look effed up, or actually the votive candle will look effed up too. But I don't know how easy it is to tell the difference, except in how bad the egg seems, of whether you have an evil eye curse or another curse.
Well, basically, you put it in water.
Yeah.
And one thing, do not look at it if you're trying to pull off if you suspect the evil eye, because that's a way of accepting the evil eye onto you, whatever you're removing onto you. Or at least that's what's been said. I'm not going to go against my ancestors on that one. It's like, okay, whatever. But no, if you take an egg and you crack it and you put it in the water, if nothing is present, nothing's going to change. You might get a couple bubbles just because that's just normal. But if the evil eye is on you, it's going to start to have spikes kind of go up to the top along with the bubbles. It's going to start looking like a web of sorts.
Okay.
Almost like
So how is that
needles.
going to be different from other curses, though? And does that matter? Because I might argue it doesn't at that point.
Yeah.
Well, with other curses, there are certain symptoms when it's the evil eye that you might experience. And yes, it sounds like you might have a cold or a flu or what have you, but it might just be the evil eye. You don't know. And sometimes it's more or less if you suspect the evil eye, and it could be you got the evil eye and other curses. It happens. But
I mean, the evil eye itself, the evil eye itself can cause far more damage if it gets in your system than just a cold. Like once it starts repatterning your luck, if you accept it and you're not doing any cleansing, it really can become like this powerful initiative for your own self curse. Like it leads to a cross condition pretty easily.
Exactly. And there's times where it's like you may not realize it and you're thinking it's something else and you're not getting it taken care of properly. And yeah, it gets in that loop. And then sometimes you can start cursing yourself, not realizing you're doing that. I mean, not, like, damn me. Oh, damn me, or anything like that. It would just like, I'm an idiot. I should be doing this, but I'm not. Oh well. Just
So the web is the web in the water is pretty interesting. Now, how do you remove it with the black votive?
With the black votive, what I'll do, and this is just me. I love using a porcupine quill because it's easier to me. It's easier to write into the wax than anything else. But you can use like a pen or anything else, really. What I will do is write around the top of the black votive, basically return to or remove obstacles from all my enemies, known and unknown. Because I may consciously be going like, oh, it has to be this person, and there's other people that I have no clue about.
Right. So
just randomly.
This is where we're getting to the big point too. Like this method is another one that's basically just remove everything and send it all back to.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of whether it's the
back.
evil eye or not. And that's what's kind of like what I was saying about the water too.
A good
like,
spiritual
really,
cleanse will do it.
Like the water itself, like the egg is going to make a web pattern probably if you're cursed in another way, and it's not an evil eye. Like
right. It's a good starter though with the evil eye.
Yeah. No. Like this is where I was. This is kind of where I was getting at the last show too. Like it's hard to tell the difference between practical curses once they're in your system. Like, and it maybe doesn't matter. Like yeah, once it gets in your energy system, the egg will tell you yes, no. You've probably been cursed if it is spikes.
Yeah.
Like that's also a Ukrainian technique. the egg thing, right? And or earwax
Right.
thing too. Both ways basically tells you the similar thing. Like, yeah, it's you've been cursed.
Right.
You're in the money zone as far as the curse.
With
And
olive oil, Italians sometimes use olive oil, and it'll be in a bowl, and they'll put it on the person's head. I'm just like, no. But basically, if that person has the evil, I don't put it on the person's head. I would have them just hold the bowl because it's their energy. It'll come out one way or another.
mm,
But if they have the malocchio or the evil eye, then the olive oil is going to move. Either it's going to all, the drops are going to move together and combine as one, or they're going to disperse across the top. And that's usually a sign that the malocchio has been, or it's present.
right.
If
Some
it
sort of
isn't, the drops won't move at all. There'll be no change
Right.
to it. So that's one way of saying. With the egg, again, if it's not present, like I said, you may see some bubbles. But other than that, there's really going to be no change. The egg is just going to sit at the bottom of the glass. The only change that may happen, depending on how long you have it sitting there, is now you're starting to smell egg. And because it's out and who knows, it can start stinking. Depending on how long you have it out. I recommend getting rid of it within an hour, depending, but that's just me in general. The way to get rid of both the olive oil and the egg is to either pour it into the ground with the olive oil, or with both olive oil and egg, just to flush it down the toilet. Again, not looking at it necessarily directly if you can, especially with the egg. But there you have it. With the wax from the votive, of course, you're going to dispose of it as you would any other magical candle.
well,
Just,
given what you're doing there, return it to sender. A graveyard is a good choice.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it is. But if you don't have the option of getting to a graveyard nearby, a dumpster is just as good. So.
But the graveyard just gives you that little extra.
Well,
like,
the graveyard is good for all three if you really think about it.
Right. Exactly.
So.
I kind of want to talk about that too, because it's this point of what's the evil eye versus not. Like, a lot of the symptoms can look very similar. And like I said, the egg thing for me, that I haven't used the olive oil. The egg thing I have used to diagnose a curse. And whether a person is cursed by the evil eye or whether they're cursed, it really does appear to me like it's hard to tell the difference. Or at least it seems that way to me. Like, it's a little hard. It's like accepted, like if it's a basic level curse, right? Not somebody sending a demon at someone else. Those look different.
Those you can tell right in the eyes someone else is there.
Right, or a dead thing. You could tell by a different means. Like, yes, the egg might look bad, but there's a presence. Like, but I'm talking about your trick, your conjure tricks, and the evil eye. Like, first of all, like, I'm under the full impression that I just don't buy that the evil eye is as strong with the untrained person as a conjure trick. It's just not true. And like, it can't be belittled like that. I just don't believe it.
No, you're right. You're right. If to the untrained, you're gonna get something that's just, again, someone's just gonna start feeling meh, and that's about it. For the untrained with the evil eye, it'll be meh. Nothing.
But again, if somebody has got true passion, I mean, they might be able to do more damage with the evil eye. But I still think, like, if someone
if they touch them,
it's
not
very interesting.
it's going to get
as a direct energy transmission. Well, and this is always done between friends, like hand on shoulder, eye to eye, right?
And that's why you keep there's always been certain people in the community or the village or whatnot. It's like, stay away. I don't know, stay away. And there's certain reasons for that. Sometimes it has to do with the evil eye, or they might, your elders may know these are jealous people. Stay away. Because they're just, it is what it is. You don't want what they have or pick up that energy, basically. And you can feel it sometimes. It's just like, I don't want to be around you. Your energy is bad. Bad juju. But with others, when you're trained, and you're trained by someone who really knows how to not just give the evil eye, but fix it. And it's usually done by people you are associated with. Not to say a perfect stranger can't put the evil eye on you, but it's stronger with the people that you know. And yes, your family members can do it to you. A lot of times, especially when you're younger, it's usually your family members that are doing it to you. But no, there's gestures. I know in some words, like with amulets, for instance, in the Italian culture, you're going to get the cornuto, which is basically, your horns, your bull horns. And they're always usually supposed to be pointed right at you. And that's one way to fix it, too, onto somebody. So if someone's just like, nah, right at you, you deflect.
Yeah, but if someone had did that in front of you, wouldn't you slap them?
Deflect and punch, yeah.
I mean, it's like them cursing that right in front of you. Wouldn't just like backhand them? Like,
just like,
what?
Backhand, discipline.
Right in front of
discipline.
Me? Usually you see that at a rock concert, and yeah, Dio was not the first one to come up with the horn. Sorry. Whole entire Italian culture going way back thousands of years.
Right. I mean, that's true. But then at that point when you're combining it, the people sort of know a little bit more at that point. Like,
right.
When they're starting to combine
but usually when it's hanging around your neck, it's down, so it's in a deflection. So you're deflecting that evil eye.
Down, all right. You're downward deflection.
Downward deflection, yeah. The only one I know of who actually, believe it or not, and it was a family member who threw the horns at me, was my nephew Charlie when he was baby. He was a little baby wizard. It was almost like he knew exactly what he was doing, too.
Did you slap him? It's like, stop, knock that shit off.
Oh, my brother was having fun with it. I was sitting there like, he was like, pew, pew. It's like, I was just
one of the things about the evil eye, because like clearly this is becoming a huge topic. Like people are making money off of this. I am personally, like I have been since Hands on Chaos Magic, you're not going to tell me the amulets work just out of the box.
No.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Nor does the Hand of Fatima work out of the box. This requires some understanding what the symbol is and some ability to actually imbue this with some sort of spiritual energy that requires more training.
Right.
I do not believe that.
There are blessings, just almost the same ones that you would use after when you're cleansing yourself via the egg or the olive oil or what. I mean, for me, just having the return to sender on the votive oil, or I mean, not the votive oil, the votive candle with it burning. That's almost my way of saying, and I get really, really angry. I put all my anger into the candle too. It's like, I want this out of me, all negativity. I don't care. Return to sender. And a big old fuck you. Fuck the motherfuckers.
Right.
Thing. And that is just me. That's my own personal way. But I know with, and I would say that if someone gives you a blessing or a spell or a charm or whatever it may be magically in its original language, use it, because there's magic in those words.
We might disagree on that. Being a chaos magician, I definitely would disagree with that. I would probably put that into barbarous language if you don't. Which, you know, if you're speaking another language, it's already magical to you. Like, but that's me being a chaos magician and contrary today. And I could disagree tomorrow with myself. So, I mean, one thing though,
if it's been thousands of years old and it's in its original language, yeah, I'm going to go with it. Because who knows what it's actually been translated into English by now.
Yeah, I no longer, I think I'm going to stick with my chaos roots today and say it's barbarous language. And just, I'll disagree with myself tomorrow. I'll disagree with so we're all
whatever
friends here,
may work for whatever person.
But I mean, realistically though, the amulets and stuff, I don't even think it's enough to just say the words. Like this is the thing. Like, if you're not connecting to those words, then
it's meaningless if you're not connected to it.
Right. I mean, it still all follows the fundamentals of magic, and it's. I mean, superstition can be magic, but realistically, that amulet should have a massive impact on your body when it's charged right. It's just that simple, right? Like the words themselves have to have an impact on your body, and when you hold the charm, it has to change your consciousness. You have to literally be like, yeah, I'm protected, but it's not like, oh, I'm mentally protected. It's more like the words plus the charm has to do something radically different to your body when you're in the presence of the talisman.
With the talismans and the amulets, it's very. I'm agreeing with you here. It's similar to when you get crystals or whatnot that you're using. Yeah, certain crystals may be for certain things, but just having something made out of those crystals isn't going to be anything. You do the blessings or you do whatever you need to do to charge them.
I mean, exactly. That this is a point that I kind of feel the most annoying with the whole conversation about several conversations with the evil eye is it isn't enough to have the amulet. That's not the way those amulets worked originally. Like those amulets, weren't just you just didn't buy an eye and put it on and we were like, you're done. That's if that was true, I could go to Kmart and buy a little eye. I'm sure they have a little eye. It would be fine, right? Well, there is no more Kmart's, but I'm dating myself there. But
I know there's plenty of people who I know, at least in my family and whatnot, that would use or charge it and work with Saint Michael, Archangel, to charge
which didn't come up last week, but like all these other weird saints came up last week. But yes, my family would also often just use Saint Michael to repel the evil eye.
Right,
all the time.
It's the same when you got the evil eye removed from you. You're using those same.
Honestly speaking, let's talk about that. Like, I mean, that's good because we're now getting into you're charging the amulets with the energy of Saint Michael. That's good. Yeah. I could see other ways to charge the eye of Fatima and stuff like that. There's a lot that I could see since it's supposed to be an eye where sort of reflection. It's mirror magic essentially,
right?
it doesn't look like a mirror, but that's the intention. It's like it's mirror magic. The eye to the eye, the eye. You look in the eye and it reflects back at you.
Right.
Like whatever you did, it reflects back to you. So that's I could see even with just straight conjure-esque, you're sitting there using sort of the mirror idea and to get it to charge with that kind of bounce back.
Yeah.
And
So,
see,
but still, go ahead. Oh, you're channeling.
Yeah.
Channeling alert.
Bona cosa.
Channeling alert.
Channeling alert.
And this, we're in agreement here. She caught my thought. The patron saint of the Visconti was Saint Lucia, who was blinded. And if you see her depicted, it's usually she'll have like a platter with eyes on it, because she was blinded. And that's who they would work with. So basically, instead of, as far as protection, but also blinding the evil eye, so they would also use Saint Lucia.
All right. So that's actually makes total sense, right?
Yeah, that does.
Using a blind entity to kind of fight a blind saint to fight this. Actually, like I feel like
perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, I would have went with Saint Michael, but really, almost
Well, Saint Michael, Saint Lucia, use both if you feel like it.
To me, like if we're talking about saint magic, like to me, I almost feel like almost any saint could probably remove the evil eye. Not all of them, but most. Most, I think.
There are, but I think when it comes, some saints are used best for certain tasks.
Well,
yes,
this goes back.
This comes back to how I conceive of the evil eye in the same way you do, as like a spiritual cold that, and I mean, like the same is true. Like if we want to go cross-cultural, like the majority of Buddhists and Bodhisattvas could remove the energy of the evil eye from you. Would you agree with that, Zach? I think most of the Taoist spirits could too.
I think most of the Taoist spirits. I mean,
like if you want to go overkill, Shiva could do it, but I mean,
right? I think it depends on the metaphor.
Overkill.
Really, it's really like if you're looking eye to eye as a mirror piece and reflection, anything correlated with light or the sun could reflect it. And most saints or higher, like I don't want to say the word higher, but like the more lighter type spirits, anything that's a little more elevated on that point could work with it.
I would even say solar. You're going on top of that.
Yeah, solar. Yeah,
solar and or water, because the reflective property, going back to the mirror situation, reflective property of the water.
Because that's all, like when you look at it from Taoist magic, that's just a Bagua mirror right there. You're just reflecting it directly. And they don't really hide that stuff where they're like, yeah, it's a straight arrow to you, so just reflect it back.
I mean, and that's the thing about the talismans. Like, I mean, people will probably watch this show later. I think that's one of the big things. I think the talismans, like we sell the eye. We sell the eye. We sell. We're making a poster for our window with we got bracelets. We're gonna make a poster with the hand of Famida, because
Fatima.
It's cool. But Fatima, right? Yeah. I meant to say that. We just need more coffee, I guess, but whatever.
We got a hand for sale.
We got a hand.
Hand
but
of glory.
Anyway, it is kind of like a hand of glory, actually, but not.
It is. It really is.
But I mean, so we have this stuff, but I mean, we at least make the point to say that there's more to it than just you buy it and you're protected.
Right.
Because I don't believe that. I've never believed that. That's like the common thing people say. Superstition alone on that isn't going to charge it.
Right. Well, see, it's almost like if you're using Catholicism. Let's jump back here to Catholicism for a second, because this is something most people can understand. You get the rosary. The rosary itself is nothing. When you start saying the rosary prayers over the beads, then you're starting to charge that up. Other than that, some people could just use it as jewelry, and that's all it is.
Well, I'd actually argue even saying the words is close to nothing. Like until you connect to the words of that rosary in a real intimate way,
Right.
You'll get something out of saying the words, but probably not very much. Like there's another step
Agreed.
that actually makes the rosary or mantra work actually work. It's not just saying the words.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like singing a song. You have to connect to the words if you're going to actually get the audience to pay attention.
Right.
You know, other than
Right.
that, words
I mean,
mean nothing.
this is sort of the problem with a lot of this stuff is that the narrative keeps coming that first the evil eye is 70% of people have the evil eye. Okay, fine. Everyone is not arguing that. I think that's a little rough actually, but depending on what you want to say in the cold, okay, sure, that's probably true.
Well,
But then we're also saying the same token is that these techniques that don't actually work, just buying the necklace, is enough to repel the evil eye. It's kind of we're like in this ignorant circle here. Like,
mhm.
you know, like it's just not true. Like, I mean, especially if it's been in there ingrained a little. Like if somebody did the evil eye when you're a little kid, that shit's probably
That's gonna be there for a while.
scarred in. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
scarred into your psyche, right? So the longer it's been there, the harder it is to remove it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the defense, like I said, like this, most of the talismans are basically mirror like talismans. Like I see the eye at you. That's the magic, but no one's saying it so simply. It's like that's actually what the evil eye magic is. The hand of Fatima that kind of works with the chakras in a way to say,
right. That's like a third eye.
You're almost the. Yeah, but it's still the eye,
right.
the eye in me.
It's the eye right there.
And that's the eye that you gotta block. These eyes, okay, fine. Most people don't block the third eye, and that's the way in.
I mean that's really the hand of Fatima is like the eye and me sees the eye, what the eye and use it reflects back whatever you said. It's like
talk to the hand, damn it. Oh, sorry.
It is literally talk to the hand.
Or you pull the Shiva move, or be like, see my eye, fire blaze.
And I should say this, because I mean I've described it as a cold. There's certain symptoms with the evil eye that I'm aware of. That, granted, like I said, could be seen as a cold or something or whatever, but most commonly someone will start feeling like they got a headache all of a sudden, especially right behind the eyes.
Yeah.
Their eyes may swell, either one or both. You can start feeling fatigue, drowsiness, and just like right on, like instantaneous. You can start sweating, like really clammy as you're, almost like your energy's fading you. And there's something else that I'm thinking of, and I just lost my train of thought. I said that.
Probably anything anything sinus nasal, because it's a directed
right, and it's all in the same area too. Like if we're talking about
depression,
eye sinuses,
can't forget depression in there.
Right.
All of a sudden, or just feeling really off, and I mean,
and sleeplessness too.
Yeah, and also sudden clumsiness, and it may seem like you're holding something and objects are just jumping out of your hands. You're not able to hold on to them as you thought you did, and it's just certain little bouts of bad luck are starting to happen. It's all this is happening at once, and that's, or I shouldn't, well, at once, but not. I mean, it's like in succession. It's like bam, 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 bam. And that's usually when someone really has gotten you with the evil eye. But other than that, you might just experience a few. Is it the evil eye or is it a cold?
This is the thing too, like because like I said, you're more associated with the the store so we can have more honest conversations. But I mean, realistically, like the strength that it goes in matters. Like it isn't just like someone. The strength of the emotions also makes a radical difference.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like,
definitely.
I couldn't actually get that out of the show before, but it's true. Like if someone really hates you and they do this and they have the focus
Right.
to lie to your face and then tap you on the shoulder, but they truly have burning absolute hatred. That is, and if it's the right time. I mean, that's the other thing I should say. There's other times that like you can get hit by the evil eye and there's almost no effect because basically you're not in a vulnerable position. You're either in a strength position, a confidence position.
Right. This is where if we're using ailment as the metaphor here, and we're using the cold, it's like your immune system is good enough to bounce it off. It's not going to matter. It's only when you're
if you're feeling, I truly think if you're feeling really good and confident, the evil eye is harder to cast on you. It's not. If you're feeling down and shitty about yourself, it's a little easier to break things. You know, to me, that might not always be right, but it's like, you know, especially if it's not fake confidence. A lot of people have fake confidence. It's not real, right? I mean, but
I think it's also a matter of letting your guard down, even if it is just for a second. 'Cause you may be completely confident, say like at a family Christmas party or whatnot. And so, you know, it's your family. They know you. You feel confident. You're yourself, you know, doesn't matter. But if there's been, say, the one person that you have been always told to avoid, and you may just turn around and they're right there, you may just kind of jump like, oh,
we don't talk
like
about Bruno.
how.
Come on, that was good.
About Bruno.
Bruno.
No. Yeah, and so it's just like, you know, you just kind of stop. Like, oh, how did? In your head, you're just thinking, oh fuck, how do I deal with this and whatnot. But in that session, and they're starting to talk to you, well, they're of course giving quote unquote compliments, or it feels that way, you know. But if they touched you, and they may be they're already in, because they're just like,
well, the thing is, you already kind of described the counter, right? You know, just take some water or some wine, and when you get away from them, cross yourself and spit it out.
If you're apt, if you know what's what. If you don't, and say this is a younger kid, which it can happen to, they may not know, but it's usually one of the aunts or one of the elders will know what's what. Yeah. At least in Italian family,
I mean, honestly,
you're like,
I can honestly say if I was going to a family with my particular family at this point, I would probably have so many talismans that it's just wouldn't.
Right.
See it alone. I know how many.
So it's just a matter of how, careful to be. But it's like, again, who in this day and age, who's passing the traditions down? It's not. I mean, people may be ready to pass it down.
TikTok, books, TikTok.
Right, but it's like you have inside people may not be ready to talk, and or the younger generation may not seem interested. So it's like, who do I pass it to?
if you are interested and you want to know, just come to Queen City Curio.
We got you covered.
We got you covered. There you go. But in all seriousness, you're right. Those are being passed down, but I think people are discovering it more. I mean, on the information's out there. Like the practice isn't out there. That's the thing. The information's out there, but not the practice. Like
right, and they have to make it clear that it's not the like you were making clear before, and the rest of us too. It's not just having the amulet that's going to do anything.
It's not.
Yeah.
Like
you have to believe.
And this is the other thing too. Like that I was trying to think. The evil eye can be practiced. It's not.
Yeah.
Like this, a person made it sound like I mean, even a couple people have made it sound like in books and online, you can't practice this as just people naturally do it. That's not true. This can be a magical technique you can practice. Literally, I give it's shapeshifting like how to actually do better versions of the evil eye than classically thought. But it's not that different than what I heard from what I've heard over the years from some Italians who actually work with spirits, where they basically, and some other myths that I heard from Ukrainians too, where they work with the evil eye and they directly throw a spirit through their eyes at you. You know, a negative entropic spirit. So this can be practiced, and the defense can be practiced. Like, I personally, I might be wrong, but I personally still feel like a convincing psychic shield will just, it'll just kind of act the same as the amulet. But that's just my opinion. Maybe it's the way that I teach psychic shields.
There you go. And let's talk about that right for a second, because that is the crux of the matter. Anybody can know how to put up a psychic shield. Not everybody knows how to psychically shield where it continuously goes even when you're asleep.
That's true. And somebody can cast the evil eye at you when you're asleep. But then again, I'm convinced that a lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram or convincing banishing ritual gets rid of the evil eye in 99% of the cases.
And daily qigong or whatever energy system. Just a
99% of the cases. Right.
Psychic cleanse, there you go. And then you have to just put on your own personal wards and psychically shield and whatnot.
But
that said, like, now if someone's trained on the evil eye, that's a little different, because they're going to be able to pierce through stuff a little bit. Like if they actually sorcerously
know the
trained
openings,
and they know how to do it. Yeah, they pierce through the surface energy of energy and cause something to break deeper. That's a little different, right?
And someone who's able to see a person's aura, I mean, really truly able to see a person's aura, can find the cracks.
They will attack the cracks.
And there you go.
And that's a little different. That's what I mean. Like at that point, you're dealing with somebody who has focus and
know-how and training.
Better know-how, right? So yeah, and what I would describe that as is like most evil eyes hit the surface energy again, and they're easily banished. But there's sometimes like where you're dealing with someone who knows what they're doing, and that the classic witch stories of the evil eye are people who know what they're doing. It's became common parlance, but this is classically witchcraft. People train this, and they could hit you at the right point to cause actual psychic damage, which isn't as easily counterable by a simple banishing. That requires other better healing techniques, because the wound was already, the psychic wound was already there. They just kind of know where to hit. And
they know where leverage is.
I would say this is fall in the instance where this is the wonderful gray area. If someone was doing magic against someone else to teach them a lesson because of how they act, and this, let's go back to Middle Ages for a second, and you have your lords and your dukes and whatnot, and then you have your feudal serfs, you know, everybody else that's under you. And that particular lord may be evil and just a tyrant or whatnot, and they need to change their ways, so to speak. And if you want to get all Disney with it, think of Beauty and the Beast. But there's magic against them, but you can do whatever the hell you want to them. That's not going to affect them. That's not what they care about. Maybe what they care about is their child. And so let's throw the evil eye on the child, make them sick until that person changes their ways, and then take it away. Because
I mean, that's the thing,
during back in the days.
Doing the evil eye against someone else who's doing the evil eye to you as a defensive mechanism, sure. But again, I would argue you can actually train this. You can actually train this to do that one thing people don't talk about is the vast majority of the evil eye cast is people casting evil eye on themselves. It's true. Look at the mirror with self-hate.
Yep.
I hate myself. I hate myself. What the hell? You have all the necessary criteria of the evil eye. Like, and in fact, how you can train with the evil eye, with the not casting the evil eye, is to cast the evil eye upon yourself and then cleanse yourself. Cast the evil eye upon yourself, cleanse yourself. Cast the evil eye upon yourself, cleanse yourself. By the time you get to the point that you're dealing with the public, anyone casts the evil eye, you know what it feels like. You're going to cleanse yourself. Like, you're going to know how to do it, right? And you can then train yourself on how to get better at the evil eye, because you'll sort of, in practice, this idea you just cast the evil eye as a defensive standard without training, to me, is like going into a street fight without having practiced a punch. It just...
Yeah, well, I mean,
who does
at that point, it's...
Well, everybody
that's
does it, and
not
that's why
training.
you get random negative energy.
No. King of the Hill street fight. I mean, not like you're just a random street fight in a road rage. I mean, you know, where there's thousands of dollars on the line for the bets in a street fight, right? Like that kind of stuff. Yeah, people
don't roll
people
up
have thrown a
and
couple
be like,
punches, right? Right. I mean, like, so, like, I'd say before you ever try to use the evil eye, of which, granted, I think both of you have seen my shapeshifting class.
Yeah.
My evil eye technique's pretty good, I think, but
it absolutely is awesome.
Before you use anything like an evil eye as a defensive tactic, I would like a counter-offensive defensive tactic, I would practice it. Like, I don't think you could just pull out the evil eye. People just, unless you're really sociopathic, I just don't think on every average day person has that much maliciousness on tap. It's not easy.
I think the percentage
I don't know. Maybe I'm
that on
okay.
tap,
You can both tell me. You could basically both tell me. Nah, you're wrong. People are
no, I think it gets to the Joker level of snapping, where they might make that happen once, but that's not a practiced kata per se. Like, it might just
that's
happen
what I
once
think
randomly.
too. I think generally when people get the evil eye who are unpracticed, it's like the Joker moment. Like, it's like one bad day, they snapped right then and there. And it's just they had more strength there, but I just don't think they have that on reserve as a
reserve, absolutely
measure.
not. I mean, I don't think so. Not unless you're hitting that sociopathic level.
Yeah, you really have to. I don't know, but you know, Kaliva is kind of like maybe they do. Maybe she does,
Maybe.
and we're just like better people, I guess, or something. Like, I don't have it on reserve.
I don't go on reserve.
Speechless, quiet,
I
doesn't
know.
want to say. Damn.
Yeah, I'm keeping myself quiet for a second there. Thank you.
Well, do you think people have that on reserve? Because that makes a difference in practice. Like, I think most people are generally...
your normal person, general normal person, no.
No way, right? Exactly.
There's maybe about, and this is me probably being very, very generous, maybe 10% of the population, the world.
Which is the same as the sociopath percentage, right? So maybe you have 10% of the people who can tap into the darkest emotions on command because it just rile themselves up. But again, that's like 1 out of 10 is not great, but it's not 50% either.
Right.
I mean, it's a different scale at this point of who could actually use this technique defensively. Like, if you're not practicing this on yourself, I would never use a counter evil eye on anyone who's evil eyeing you. Like, I would literally
do not use the eye of Soren.
No, don't use that. But I'd literally go to the mirror. I'd literally go to the mirror, try to cast the evil eye, then like cleanse myself and do it like several times before I try to. Because basically, when you're doing the eye lock like technique and counter evil eyeing, you have to be the better wolf in your eyes. You have to terrify the other person that you're looking at to the point that the evil eye not only reflects back to them. Again, this goes back to the amulets. It's eye to eye, right?
Mhm.
You are by far the greater threat. So that's like, you have to practice being the greater threat. And then your eyes can reflect the evil eye back to somebody. But that takes practice. I just don't.
Yeah, that's a skill set.
I've heard. Yeah, several people said that you could just do on the fly, but I'm like, no.
Like anyone that comes to the store talking about evil eye, they're like, "Oh, we just buy this ammo." I'm like, "No, we can bless it for you and teach you how to use it, but this is training if you want even defenses of how to work with this, because you have to connect to the amulet, all these other things."
Do you think that's right?
Yeah.
Using the evil eye against the evil eye, have to practice it.
The evil eye against the evil eye, having to practice it to do so. Yeah. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
say.
you can't just whip out the evil eye when someone's whipping out the evil eye at you.
Whip it out!
Right.
Whip it out!
Like, if it's your first time experiencing the evil eye, you're not just going to counter with the evil eye. That has to be practiced. Like,
Yeah.
it just, and like I said, you can easily practice that by going in the mirror, casting it, coming back, cleansing yourself, going in the mirror, casting it, coming back. And it doesn't take much. You could just look at yourself with loathing and you'll cast the evil eye upon yourself. Like, and then basically go do some healing work, cleanse it, or cast envy at yourself, or, go, whatever it is, like, like extreme emotion with the intention that, you're not good enough.
I will say
variant
this
of you're not good
too.
enough.
Parents out there, do not worry about your child excessively. You can be concerned,
That can be the evil eye.
but do not worry about them excessively and let them know. You're getting that in their system, and yeah, you just fucked them up. Worrying is a
And
curse.
you probably express that worry. Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
mm.
I mean, there's that, and then we're also like, so there's the untrained pieces, and then there's the trained pieces. I mean, we talked about the magical techniques. I think the other interesting thing across cultures is they have different social customs on what they would do around this, and that has to be practiced also. Because
Yeah.
if it looks socially awkward, what are you going to do? It's broken.
Yeah, like this would be broken.
Yeah.
Right. But if I was under the table on Zoom and I had it going, you can't see my devil's horns or bull's horns. Right.
Oh, there's also the singular, it looks like a long pepper.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, in a way, sort of think of it as spiritual pepper spray. Poke the eye out.
I've also seen the devil's tooth, which is basically, again, it's kind of like this motion. It's you're staking it down to the devil.
Gotcha.
I've heard that the pepper is similar. Like it's like burning it away. Too hot.
Yeah.
Too hot to do it. But again, those all have to be empowered. So
Exactly. Otherwise,
Yeah.
So we've been speaking for an hour.
yay.
How's the book coming along? That's about all my books.
Slowly. It's almost like hurry up. No wait. Now hurry up. No wait. It's like
Duck, duck, goose. Duck, duck, goose.
So eventually, Kaliva will have a book out, and it's more like what I said because I'm going to work with her to make sure it is sellable.
yeah, the Medici,
and-
the Gonzaga,
And then, and we are going to set her up to do. She could be available for readings through her store, although they're online because she lives in the States. We're in Canada, so that's how it is.
Same time.
That's how it is.
Mm,
Yeah, same. Yeah.
same bat time, different bat channels.
So right now, because we've been negligent, we don't have the schedule for the sponsors yet, but I promise it's worthwhile. So far, we have about 200 different ceremonies, workshops that you can get, and we're going to start going into July 1st. We're going to work it out, but Goetia, every 2 weeks, we're going to summon a different demon and the corresponding angel. Not at the same time, but the same day. Like, with some workshop, right? All 72, Shemforce, and Goetia. Oh,
You want some goodies? We got the goodies.
But we're going to try to actually also start teaching basic witchcraft classes too. Although we're trying to work out the time.
Which brings me to a quick question, just a refresher, because I don't have it in front of me. It's actually in a different state and storage still. Hands-on chaos magic. You had something in there, if I recall, about making your own holy water, blessing.
Probably.
Yes? Okay.
Probably.
So get hands-on chaos magic. So you can bless your own water, and therefore when you remove the evil eye even quicker.
Well, I mean, there's so many ways to make holy water, right? Every culture has different holy water.
I said bless the water, not necessarily holy water.
I know. Well, technically, any blessed water is holy in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Now, personally, if you were here a few weeks ago when we did the Gnostic Jesus ritual,
that was.
Oh yeah, on Easter we summoned Jesus on Easter. Gnostic Jesus is different than Gnostic Jesus is very different than regular Jesus, because basically Gnostic Jesus implies that any single person can imbue the Christos spirit at any time. So it's basically like, that ritual actually broke people.
Can do what?
That broke people. That literally broke
any
people.
Any person has the capacity to imbue the Christos spirits, thus becoming a Jesus. Christos.
Oh, Christos. Okay.
Anybody has the capacity to imbue the Christos spirit at any time, thus becoming a Jesus. For that period of time, the Gnostics basically believe that, that Gnostic Jesus ritual actually broke half the participants, because anybody can imbue the Christos spirit. And when you imbue the Christos spirit, it's sort of like hardcore, because it's like hardcore divine love. Most people can't handle that. People think curses are the hardest rituals, but it's not. It's these kind of rituals that are way harder, when you have to accept that there's this Christos spirit that is actualized divine love, and that you temporarily touch it is usually far worse for most people. But we did that. But that would be a good way to bless your holy water. There's several others.
That online too for sponsors, by the way.
So you can walk through it, and then you can bless holy water. But really, there's a lot of ways to bless holy water. But I probably did. If not, I should write a blog on it, which me and writing, a little better. But
I thought you had something in writing at some point, so that's why I was just curious.
I probably do. Although, like I said, every system is different as far as that. As far as holy water. But holy water is a pretty good way to sprinkle on yourself. If you made it yourself or got it from a church, I might take a mixed view on, depending on which church.
Or get a hold of this from Queen City of Curio.
We have our own. We make our own.
See, I told you.
We got our own Florida water.
But you still got to put some energy into it.
Yes, you do.
Still got to put some energy into. So ours is a good base. It holds the energy real well, but you still got to do something with it. You still got to do something with it.
You still got to connect.
Yeah.
Still got to connect.
Well, that's just it.
So
I mean, the best.
That is it.
The best, whether it's magical or cooking, the best recipes for anything include your own energy. or whatever energy.
That is
And with
probably
intent.
absolutely true,
Yeah.
with intent, yeah. So I think to go back to what we got coming up, we haven't finished the schedule, so we apologize for that. It's been a busy few weeks. On Sunday, we're going to do an AMA where, since it's Easter, not Easter, it's Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
We figure Mother's Day. What time is that the AMA?
6 tomorrow.
So 6 o'clock. So you can ask us anything. Anything. Like, you want to learn about the most foul magic? Okay. You want to learn about the best magic? Whatever. You want to learn about what we're doing? That's fine. Although people will be a little surprised what I'm working on if I actually was. But you can ask at the AMA. I won't
ask.
I won't actually say it now. But we have the Goetia thing coming up. And we're going to be, like I said, doing basic witchcraft classes, which is going to combine a whole bunch of straight chaos magic, the basics, chaos magic, and maybe some more traditional witchcraft of Italian and English, combinations kind of in hoodoo, kind of traditional variants of different conjure classes that we'll kind of start teaching, in the store, just to kind of have the basics of what people want to know. And so if you're in Toronto or you want to watch online, 607 Gerrard Street or QueenCityCurio.ca, you keep the lights on. We really need you. And really, for the 10 sponsors at $39 or so,
Oh, that's
right,
nice.
with the exchange,
Mm-hmm.
right, you get hundreds of stuff that are actually a little unpolished, but they are really solid workshops. Like, some are actually more polished than others, honestly, but they're all really solid workshops that you just don't get from other stores. Let's be honest. Yeah. Solid workshops from people who know how to do it. Like, we had people at the figurine candle workshop that were, I consider, magical experts, and they basically said they learned more about figurine candles from that workshop than they had ever thought about. And that workshop that it gave. So, like, these classes are with people we do the magic. We don't just write books. So we do the magic. We do client work for people who come to the store, and like, that's a really inexpensive cost per month to kind of keep the lights on, and actually learn how to do actual stuff that you need to make the changes in your life. So help us keep the light on. We have multiple community shrines that are open and free. All of the stuff that the sponsors help keep the lights on for that too, and help get the supplies for that. We have hundreds of herbs here. We have hundreds of candles. Like, whatever you need, we got it at Queen City Curio. And soon we're going to be making T-shirts for Deeper Down and Queen City Curio. So if you don't want to become a sponsor, you can buy a T-shirt.
Get our swag.
Get our swag that we're making. Well, I'm making. Zach's just going to approve it. I'm making it. So, yeah. So that's how it is. And Kaliva, who will be, we've been kind of having a busy couple of months, but she is going to. We're going to work. We have all the stuff in kind of agreements to kind of bring her on as one of the readers. I'm one of the readers. Andrieh Vitimus, and Zach does more Taoist style readings, sort of I Ching readings, but we're all sort of diviners and sort of priests or priestesses in our own right. So if you need something, we can probably handle it. And so come down to the store, just give us a call, and we'll work on it. Because that's the goal, is a better life for everyone involved. And that's what we want to see happen for you. And with that, exactly. With that upward spiral message, we will see everyone next week. Who do we have coming on the show, Zach?
We got, let's see here. We got Edgar. Actually, no, we got Matt Arwen. My bad.
We got Matt Arwen, who had trouble scheduling for a while. So we've got a big boy.
We got a big one.
Not a big guy, but he's pretty famous. He wrote Mastering Witchcraft and Psychic Witchcraft. So there you go. There you go. So next week, tune in.
Mm-hmm.
That said, everyone stay healthy, happy, and well. We'll see everyone next week. If you're at 607 Gerard Street, come on down. If you're in East Chinatown, for now. And basically, maybe, come in. We'll put the guests on the big screen, kind of relaxing some of the mask mandates in our center after WHO's commentary the last couple days. So we're following exactly what the WHO said to do. So maybe you don't have to wear a mask while you're sitting here watching the show or contributing to the show, right? So there you go.
Chindani.
There, hey, that was a blessing, right?
Yes.
You weren't giving me five.
It's a shortened version of an Italian saying, which basically means 100 years of health, wealth, prosperity, what have you. So it's a blessing. Usually used as a toast.
There you go. There you go.
Very good. Very good. Take us on out, Zach. Take us on out.